Hey gamers, here's my setup of Hadrian's Wall, and we're going to do a little playthrough and just kind of see how it goes. I really enjoy this game, and hopefully I can help you see how the game flows while also not taking forever to get through it. It is a tough game for the AP prone because there are so many options. So this is going to be a solo game, and I'm going to show you basically how the rhythm of the game works. So basically, at the beginning of the year, just like always, we are going to turn over one of these cards to see our starting resources. We're going to look at two of our own cards, and we're going to choose one for its resources and scouting shape. And then we're going to choose another one that actually goes up here as a scoring condition for the end of the game. We're also going to draw and show off two cards from this deck because they basically will act as if they were our neighbor's cards. So if I ever need something that you would trade with a neighbor for, this is the cards that will let me do that. So the basic premise of this game is that we're trying to get as many points as possible. 70 plus is like the highest range of solo games. I can normally get in the 60s range, but I'd like to try to break 70. I've only hit 70 like one time though, so this game is pretty tough. But what we're doing is we are building up Hadrian's Wall across 6 years. We're defending against attacks, and we're trying to get as many of these points down here as possible. And so I'm going to be trying to use my resources to set off like chain reactions basically that make it all work. And I kind of just want to jump into play and explain it as I go rather than sit here and try to explain every little thing because this game looks a lot more confusing than it actually is. And I think that once you get a sense of the rhythm, it'll be much better. However, the main things to note are that this is the wall. So we're going to be building up the wall. These are resources that kind of renew every year. So if I want to add to my generation of resources per turn, I'm going to come here. This tracks my points. This is my disdain. So if I don't defend against the picks, I get punished for that. And then over here, we have citizen tracks that offer various types of buildings and events and activities that are going to give me stuff to use in my turn and also hopefully earn me a bunch of points. So we're going to talk through the options kind of as we go. And hopefully before long, you'll have a full sense of the game. So what we're going to do first is we are going to turn this card over. And we are going to take the stuff on the card. So this is called a fate card. This is called a fate deck. So we're going to get 1 soldier, 2 builders, 3 what are called servants in the game, but they are slaves. There's even a note in the rules about that. The Romans did not have servants, as it were, so I will probably use the terms interchangeably just from reading the game and also thinking about the ancient world. But yes, if this concept makes you uncomfortable, you should be aware. We'll call them servants, but it's a sanitized thing for slaves. 1 civilian and 1 resource. So all the stuff on this card's been gotten. We're going to put it aside. Then the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to draw the top 2 player cards from our player deck. So we're going to look at these 2 cards, and I have 2 options. I have Ranger and Merchant. So one of these cards I'm going to put to the side for its shape and for its resource, and the other one I'm going to take for its scoring condition. I don't actually do much with either of these usually. Let's say that I'm going to take Ranger as my scoring condition this time to kind of force me to scout, because it is kind of fun. So I will put this card here, and I'm going to put this one up here under year 1. So it's like a time tracker, and it indicates your scoring conditions and reminds you what you're supposed to be doing with your time. So then I'm going to get to take these 2 resources. So I get another civilian and a resource. We're going to go ahead. Let's put this guy up here. So here's another card deck. So let's say that these are the cards that are showing. So his Ranger is showing. Let's put mine up here. Let's do that. So these are the neutral cards that I can look at. So mine are up here. And then these are neutral cards that I might choose to trade with for goods or choose to scout with. All right, and then the third step at the beginning of the year, so you got to give yourself everything that you deserve in this game, is to do any sort of production that's in this area. So you automatically start with 1 resource production per year, and that you know because this is filled in. So we're going to fill that one. So now this is all the stuff I have to work with for this turn, and I need to figure out what I want to do. So one thing I typically do at the start of any given game is I spend 2 of my servants, slaves, to fill in these spots right here. So as you can see, there's a little purple meeple. I spent 2 purple meeple, so I can go 1 spot. And then I'm going to fill in this second spot. Before I do that, you should note it's got a hammer in it and it has a little stone in it. So I'm going to fill it in. The hammer is resource production. So I'm going to come in here and fill that in. And then I also get immediately 1 stone as my resource. So now that I filled in those 2 spots, that was a good start to how I might want to spend my time. The other thing I'm going to want to do is make sure that I start building my fort out down here, because without it, you just can't do any of these buildings here. It's a chain reaction that you need to have a look to from the very beginning of the game. So basically, here's our fort. And as we build it along, as you can see, there's these little kind of chains coming up from the fort. What that means is that I can't extend my wall any further than I've built the foundations of my fort for that wall. So if I only filled it up to here, I can't put something over here in these rows because I haven't built my fort out enough to support it. That also means that I'm going to have to keep kind of like paying resources in order to keep extending my fort. So I have a small granary here. So basically this line is a strict cutoff. None of these tracks can advance past the line until I've built my medium granary. And then once I've done that, nothing can advance past this line until I've built my large granary. The real trick to this game is making sure that your foundation investments are in place before you start doing something new. So one thing I will certainly do is I'm going to take 2 builders just to start, and we're going to put them here in our wall. So I'm going to fill in this space and this one because I placed 2 builders. So on the fort, you can put a builder or a soldier, a blue or a black meeple, but the wall guard only takes soldiers. So I don't know if I want to spend my soldier just yet. We're going to kind of see what it is I think I need to do. I'm also definitely going to spend one of these resources right now to fill in the first space on my wall. So there's a stone here. We're going to fill in the spot that has a yellow meeple in it. And that means I get a yellow meeple. So basically I've gotten myself some civilians to kind of toss over here and then see what other resources pop back into my world here. So I need to be thinking about stuff I want to build. I know I'm very interested in getting a theater going ASAP. And I know that I'm also very interested maybe in getting my traders going so I can build these precincts. I also like to do priests though, because I think the gardens are nice. They advance a bunch of these tracks. And then the temples are cool because you can just kind of put meeples over there for points. So I need to be thinking about that. I also did take a scoring condition that requires some scouting, so I can't ignore that either. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You're never going to get to all of it. You just have to make some choices. So the question is, what choices do I want to initially kind of invest in? I think, let's go ahead and start with performers. So I'm going to pay one of my civilians to fill in the first space on this track, which has a blue meeple in it. So that means I'm going to get another builder. And then the question is, do I want to keep going down these tracks right now? Do I want to spend these on something else? Or do I want, now that I've gone one down the performers track, to go ahead and build my theater? And I think that's what I want to do because it costs 1 purple, 1 blue, and 1 stone. So I'm going to pay those things to fill in this square that has a nice little point in it. So that's my first point of the game. I got a renown. And then this opens me up to do the theater. So every time I spend a resource, as long as I've hit the point on the track that this number matches, and I only have 1 performance per year, then I can do things in the theater. So I've hit 1. Maybe I want to spend 1 resource to do 1 performance. And that's going to advance, based on this symbol, my trader's track up here. So I got a trader from doing my performance, and it's going to get me another servant. And I still have a couple of citizens left. So what would I like to do with those? Maybe I want to open myself up to make a small precinct. Or I can come down here to the Apparatories and start working down their track, which has a lot of points on it. I have to kind of decide. I think I want to stick with the traders for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay both of these citizens to go along the track 2 and get myself another builder. So I'll go like this. Cover up another blue meeple. And so now I'm out of civilians for now. I have 1 blue meeple, 1 purple meeple, and 1 black meeple. And a resource. So I think what I'm going to do with my builder is just go ahead and keep building my fort out because I really want to make room to dump a bunch of resources along these tracks. I also do want to work on my cohorts a little bit just so that we don't get totally creamed. So I'm going to take my one soldier. I'm going to put him towards this space which has a shield on it. And the shield directs you to the cohort. So we have left, center, and right. I get to choose one of these squares to draw in, and it's going to help defend that section from picked attacks at the end of the turn, which is coming imminently now. So let's just say I'm going to do the left. Why not? We'll just start in the easy starting place. So I've got a little bit of a cohort build going on here. By the way, if you're looking at our lovely fort situation, you've got two places to dump resources over here. You have the wall, which is this track along here, and then you have the kippy, which is this like more spaced out track along here. They are independent of each other, and it only matters whether there is a foundation for them based on whether their chains connect to parts of the fort that you filled out. So you can just kind of put your resources into either one as you go. So I do have one more resource. I'm going to put this... It's not going to get me anything, but I'm put it into the wall because I'm opening myself up to dump resources and get a bunch of stuff next turn. And then I have one more slave, and I'm going to put it here, and we're going to go and fill in just one more of these mining and foresting tracks so I can get more resource production down the line. So that's basically my entire turn. I've spent everything that I have. And so now it's going to be time for the picks to attack. So it's the end of the year, and that's the main thing that's going to happen. We're going to flip this card, and oh no, they make an attack to the center. I had chosen to defend the left, and I guess I should have picked the middle, but you just never know. You have to do the best you can. So I didn't manage to block any damage. If I had done it, I would get a valor point, but instead I'm going to get a disdain, which I have to circle right here on my sheet. Boo! All right, so that's that. And we're just going to draw more cards every year. There's 3 different flags here because you're choosing your difficulty level. So you can play with easy on green, you can play with normal on yellow, or you can play with hard on red. We're just going to play normal. That seems pretty. So now that we've done that, it's time to set up for another year. So we're just going to do the same pattern as before. We're going to flip, and then we're going to take the resources. So we get 1 soldier, we get 3 builders, we get 1 purple, we get 1 yellow, and we get 2 resources. So that's our start. Then we're going to draw 2 cards from our deck and look at them. So now I have to decide, do I want to go for planar to score points, so completed citizen tracks, or architect, which is constructed landmarks. I would like to get these meeples, but frankly, I'm just more likely to do planar to get points at the end of the game. So we're going to take this one as the scoring condition. And then we're going to put architect over here as our new like pattern card for scouting. It's going to give me an additional 2 resources. On top of that, I am going to see if I generate anything down here, which I do. I get an additional 2 resources. Let's also clear these cards out and offer me 2 more neutral cards to work with should I choose to. And now we're ready to play out another year. All right, so I think one of my first priorities right here is going to be to build the wall out to section 3, and you're going to see why. And basically it's because I want to make sure that I can generate a lot of stuff in coming years. So I'm going to spend 1 builder to fill this space, which has a citizen in it, so I'll get a yellow meeple. Then I'm going to spend another builder to fill this little brick space to take me to this 3rd flag. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make a small hotel and a small workshop this turn. So the small hotel is going to generate a citizen every year, and 1 right now. And it costs a purple, a blue, and a resource. So I'm going to go ahead and pay those. Purple, blue, resource. That gets me a citizen every year from now on, and a citizen right now. I can also now build the small workshop. So to open up the small hotel, I needed 2. To open up the small workshop, I needed a 3. So I can now do that with these 3 resources. I'll fill this in. And I'm filling in a builder. So I'm going to get the builder right now. So now I've got a builder and I got a bunch of citizens. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this builder right back into my fort and pick up another citizen. Maybe I should be doing stuff along my wall with my soldier, but I'm going to worry about that in a minute. Maybe I'm reckless, but it is what it is. All right, so now I've got all these citizens, and I can figure out some stuff to do with them. I've also got my resources. So let me think about the citizen tracks I want to advance and like the stuff over here that I can continue to develop. So I actually want to make sure I remember to do my theater performance. I need to get my theater over here to 3 though. So I'm going to spend 2 citizens to get my theater to level 3. That was a purple meeple. So I get a purple meeple for my troubles. Now that I'm at level 3, I can spend 1 resource to put on a performance. And it's going to get me a discipline point down here. It's also going to get me a soldier. So I'm gaining myself stuff by doing all of this. Then I think what I might want to do is, it's tempting to kind of keep jumping up these tracks, especially the priest. I do need to do something about that and like soon. But there's only so much time to do so many things. So what I'm going to do is I would like to build a small precinct. I'm going to spend 1 purple and 1 yellow to build the small precinct. And that has a piety, a resource generation, and a stone. So I'm going to come over here and fill in a piety. I'm going to bubble in a resource generation. I'm going to take a resource. I still have 2 soldiers and a citizen. So with this citizen, I think I can't get anything immediately from going up these tracks, which is just an indication that I should keep pushing down here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the priests and take a purple meeple. Because the priests let you build some really great stuff later as well. And I don't want to advance too far down these tracks knowing that I can get priestly bonuses to make that happen like faster and without spending too many meeples. So I've got 2 soldiers, I got a purple, and I've got 2 resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these resources first, and we're just going to put them right into the wall. So the first space that I just paid for gets me another citizen. Fantastic. And this second space that I'm about to bubble in is going to get me another renown. So we're close to getting a citizen off of our renown track and a cohort shield. So I'm going to put that one here and fill in my cohort a little bit more. Then I'm going to go ahead and responsibly put my soldiers into the wall guard. So that's 2 spaces. That's a discipline point. That's a cohort. So the cohort I'm going to put over here, and the discipline point I'm going to fill in down here. So I've got a few points now. I suppose that's good. My purple I'm just going to put into mining, even though it doesn't get me anything just yet, because I'm up for another resource generation and resource next turn. And then this citizen, the civilian, where do I want to put them? I think what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to put them into the start of the Apparatorius track to get a builder. And I'm going to spend this builder to get a discipline point on the wall, which will get me another builder. But I'm actually going to leave this, but it was stupid, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone for this resource. But hey, you can profit from my mistakes. It's hard to play and talk at the same time. I should have been thinking about that. I'm going to waste this builder now. I totally messed up. And the reason is that, actually, no, I didn't totally mess up. I'll show you how I can fix it. But basically, I can't put this builder here because I haven't built my medium granary yet. So this is a hard line. I need to do this next year in order to keep developing along my wall. However, there actually is something I can do with my builder. And that's train. So I can do 1 training per year. So see this sword? The sword is also tied to the wall guard. So what I'm actually able to do is take this blue, put the year, it's year 2. You can only do this once per year. And basically, I don't get an actual soldier, but I do get a sword, which means I can fill in a space along my wall guard. So I actually did manage to use everything that came my way this turn. So now that we're done, it's again time for the picks to come at us. Yikes. Also, I need to do some scouting. GEEs. All right, so what's going to happen next is I'm going to draw 2 cards this year. So 1, 2. Like, could I get more unlucky? No. Okay, so this totally sucks because I blocked one of these. I have 1 thing colored in on my cohort here, but the other one I did not block. So I'll show you what happens when that happens. So this gray flag has 2. Basically, I blocked 1 attack. I missed 1. So the difference between that is 1. So basically what's going to happen is that's going to split into 1 Valor point, but also 1 Disdain. So I got a little bit of a benefit, but I also got slapped by the Roman people because they're angry at my shoddy performance. But now we are in year 3, and it's a new year. So I really probably could play this game all day, but I'm going to keep my video short and just show you the 2 years. Hopefully this demo has given you a sense of how the game works and how it flows so that you can go and try it for yourself. I do recommend this one. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, perhaps support me on Patreon, and most of all, happy gaming.